Yo guys, welcome to episode 2 of the Broadcast podcast. You're probably thinking why next to me is not Mr. Okalaja. He's currently out in LA and Miami shooting things for his new shoot. Couldn't get him on the sofa today. However, TikTok has been blowing up, Instagram has been blowing up, and it's all to do with this guy on my right here. Mr. Jordan Gayle from Married at First Sight, reality star, also coming on to being an influencer boxer. He joins me and Charlotte on the sofa. Jordan, welcome to the Broadcast podcast, bro.
Good to be here. In Kent. Far away.
Very far away.
Feels like I'm in France.
He's travelled 4.5 hours?
Yeah, up north. Sheffield, Yorkshire.
Sheffield way. So 4.5 hours to come down on the Broadcast podcast. But obviously I met you back in, February time now?
Yeah, February.
Yeah. Obviously we had a fight with each other on the same show. You've been in touch ever since then, and I thought, I need to get this guy on the podcast. I need to. Obviously we'll get into it more deeply halfway through the podcast about why you're here, what things we're going to talk about. But obviously let's tell everybody who you are. So who is Jordan Gayle?
Well, I mean, I've been Jordan Gayle for 27 years, but most people know me from Married at First Sight. So I've been known probably since last October, November for marrying a stranger on TV.
Crazy.
So anyone who knew me before that would know that's typical. But it's new to some people that I'm an idiot, so yeah.
So for people that obviously have watched Married at First Sight, they'll understand the show, but what is Married at First Sight? What happens when you're on the show? What's it all about?
And what made you go on it?
So one, Married at First Sight is literally in the name, you're marrying someone at first sight, as crazy as that is.
That's crazy.
And then you literally marry him, then you go on a honeymoon for a week, and then you live in an apartment in London with some other idiots that have done the show, because you've got to be an idiot to do that. The reason why I did it, I got asked to do it, and at first I wasn't sure, but I didn't really have a reason to say no. That's kind of the way I look at it. It felt right at the time.
Yeah.
There's been times where I've thought, should I have done it? At the start I was thinking, best decision of my life.
Yeah.
Recently I'm thinking, it doesn't seem as worth it with everything that's gone on. Obviously with the whole breakup and stuff, which goes back to what you said. I met you in February, but a lot has happened since then.
Yeah, I know.
And there's been time, but the boxing, the boxing wouldn't have come about if it wasn't for Married at First Sight. But then this whole mess in the last couple of months wouldn't have come about.
You know, a bit like Love Island, how some people, people don't actually go on there to find love, they go on there to be an influencer or whatever. Did you go on it to actually get married, or did you actually go on there just to be I can make a name of myself and get set a career path? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, 99% of people do that. And for anyone that's watched the show, they probably realised that I was fully there for the person, which is probably why I behaved with a lack of control sometimes, because I let the emotions get the best of me, because it was raw, genuine emotions, strong emotions for that person.
Yeah.
There were some people there that could really control their emotions, be calculated, because they was there to try and become this celebrity and give off the impression that they wanted to give off.
Right.
Whereas I was just being myself, because I thought I found that person that I was the relationship's worth more than a bit of fame and stuff. So that's what I mean. They asked me to do it first, and at first I wasn't sure, and then I thought I ruled myself out, because I was basically asking for someone that looked like Margot Robbie but had a heart of an angel. Apparently they don't exist.
That's what I struggle to deal with, right? Because I've been single for nearly 2 years now. I am very picky. I haven't even got marriage in my head. I haven't. You're 3 years older than me?
Yeah, I don't have marriage.
I'm nowhere near up to that stage. But marrying a stranger, obviously I've watched the show myself. My mum watches it. My sister watches it. You do not know who that person is until they're walking down the aisle. Obviously, physical attraction is a massive thing.
Yeah, I was scared of that.
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
You never know who's going to walk down.
I'm sorry, people say they have a nice personality and that. You do not get to know someone's personality unless you're physically attracted to them.
Yeah, I didn't.
You don't.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's why I thought I ruled myself out, because they asked me to do it, and I was I don't need this. But if they told me that they could find my perfect person, they were we go into this research. We have experts, doctors, psychologists. We all we put everything into it, and we're gonna get at what you've just told us.
Right.
And I said, I genuinely did say someone that. See, I said it better than Margot Robbie, because I said someone that looks like Margot Robbie, but is a gym girl, and has a heart of an angel.
Okay.
And I said a quiet girl as well. I said, honestly, but that's the thing, right? I literally gave something that didn't exist, because I was I don't need it. But if you can find me this, then good luck, go ahead. And they was like, oh, we found it. I was like, okay, well, we'll see. But then, no, genuinely, like, whilst I was on the show and whilst we was together, like, I genuinely thought, like, okay, this is actually worth it. Yeah. 100%.
How did you like your family take it? Obviously, I'm guessing they were invited to the wedding. What is
so
it?
weird.
So hold on. So
It's crazy. Like, how is it like a normal wedding? Like what?
Like,
It's definitely not normal. It's definitely
not normal.
But what I'd say, right, is that I think when you get asked to do this, right, it sounds scary, but then you got to think, like, it's not legally binding. So you're not. It's more the whole like marriage thingy is more for show. For example, I mean, I still actually wear the ring, and people go, "Why the hell is he wearing the ring?" But that's more like the show, and as well, to be fair, when we was together and what we went through and how good it was, it does bring like back happy memories, and I'm proud of what I went through.
Yeah.
So that's why I wear it. I'll take it off when a girl comes along that's worth it and says, "I don't want you to wear it anymore." I'll take it off then, but I'm not trying to appear single and stuff. But
it's probably the show has probably made you who you are as a person now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So when you do look at your hand and think, oh, like all the memories it's given you, it's probably
It's like a lesson that.
it's a lesson. Like it's a life experience that you probably gained
yeah, it makes it great.
personality from and what your life's become now.
But yeah, it's not as daunting as it sounds, like marrying a stranger, because you don't have to get divorced. And for example, when it doesn't work, like it hasn't recently, it's just like it's not a normal breakup, and we'll get into that later. But in terms of like, there's no like divorce or papers
it's not,
or
like, actually,
financially,
like,
no. So yeah, it wasn't. The most scariest thing about it is that being on TV and not knowing if you're going to like the person and not knowing what's going to happen and potentially humiliating yourself on TV.
Yeah.
But I didn't think about that at all.
What did your family think when you said, "Oh, I'm going on married at first"?
Well, that's what I mean. Like I've been myself for 27 years, and my family was like, "Oh, it's just another thing, just doing it. It's stupid." Like,
Okay.
it was because it was on a bigger scale. It was like what? But also at the same time, it was like, okay, we get it, it's you.
Yeah.
But like, yeah. So they was a bit like shocked, but probably not as surprised as they should have been, which is a bit worrying. Cause
So obviously, like I said before, physical attraction's a big thing. When you turned around, and obviously Erica was there. Obviously, Erica Roberts is the girl that you married and met on the show. Was the initial physical attraction there? Was you like, wow, like finally, thank God, like I could see myself being with this person, or
yeah. It's hard for me to talk about and open up on that kind of like side of things right now because of everything. But look, like from that moment we met, we would literally like laugh with each other about how like lucky we was and like we like absolutely loved living the show because we just had a real good laugh on there. Watching it back, you'd think that we was arguing and like sad all the time, but that was like 0.1% of the time. But that 0.1% of the time was the bit that
it makes telly, it makes viewers, it makes that's what television's all about.
Yeah, we were just so natural with each other. Like I remember on the flight, on the way to our honeymoon, because you literally get married.
That's so weird.
And then you go you're literally flying the next day on the plane, and you don't know where you're going until
They don't know where you're going.
No. So like after that, you go to the honeymoon suite, which bearing in mind we laugh about this story all the time. We get down, you're filming till like 4 a.m. The next day, and you're up at like 5 a.m. So like it's 24 hours of filming.
Wow.
You get to the honeymoon suite, they want to film you like getting into bed with each other and like how's it gonna be, and then we finished that quite late, and then we had to get up like 3-4 a.m. the next morning. We didn't know what time it was because they take your phones off you. You got no phones, so you've not got a time. And we were talking because we just met each other, so we were talking and like having a really good like pillow talk chat.
Yeah.
And then we were like, okay, let's just try and get some sleep. We don't know what time it is, but let's try and sleep. I'm not kidding you, and we always used to laugh about this story. The moment we flicked the light switch off to go to sleep,
Come back on the
no, the phone rang, because they were like, we'll call you when it's time to get up, and they were like, yeah, it's time to get up. And I swear to God, and people think we're over exaggerating to make a good story. It was the moment we flicked the light switch off, and they were like, yeah, you got to get up now. And then we had to fly, and we found out in the taxi on the way to the airport that we was going to Antigua, to the Caribbean.
That's crazy.
So, and then but again, we were like cuddling each other. We were getting close to each other. Like we'd known each other years. Like on the flight.
That's so weird.
It was weird, but it felt really natural and comfortable, and that never like left. That wasn't just like, oh, we're high off the occasion. That was there throughout the whole like. That was there throughout like 11 months really. Like that like was always like together, like cuddling each other and stuff, and that just never left. I was just you just get it with some people.
like bond.
So obviously after Married at First Sight was all over, the TV show's finished. Obviously life's different. You then did you move in together, or what was the situation there? Was
do you just go your separate ways?
Would you? Did she go back to? She's from Scotland, right?
Yeah.
Did she go back to Scotland and Edinburgh, and you went back to Sheffield? Like what happened in regards to that?
Yeah. That's what happens. Like you leave the apartments, and the last episode I actually cried when we was leaving the apartments. I got emotional because I was like, we've had the best time living with each other for 2 months, but let's face it, realistically, there's a good chance we might never live with each other again because you've got to overcome long distance, which I said I would never do. And it's Edinburgh. It's not just distance. It's further from Sheffield to Kent, and that's saying something.
Yeah.
Sheffield to Edinburgh is further, and it's a different country. So that was yeah. So yeah, like there was that distance, and you do go like your separate ways almost, and you're like, has something gone wrong because we've moved out. Normally that's when you're like arguing and stuff.
It's probably kind of like, oh, that was just a show.
Yeah.
Because that's ended. Like that's part of it. So you're probably like, oh, the show's done now. So like.
Was it a dream?
We're still together.
Yeah. Did it feel like, so obviously, for me, like, if I was to go on a family holiday, like, I've had experiences myself, and I met a girl at a hotel, and, like, you're staying in the hotel with each other for, like, 14 days, and, like, you're integrating with their family and stuff, but you're on a family holiday, and you fall into that, like, holiday romance thing. At first, when you was on the show, and then when you disappeared from Erica, did it feel like a holiday romance?
Like, yeah, almost like a honeymoon. No. Like, and this is where she was absolutely amazing. Like, I remember that when we were leaving the apartments, like, we got our phones back, and she was so good at, like, making sure that we felt connected, like, through the phone. Like, we'd always video call each other, sleep every night, because we hadn't spent time away from each other for 2 months, so it was weird. But she was so good at, like, connecting through the phone, like, messaging all the time, falling asleep on, like, video call. We booked a holiday to go to Tenerife. Like, we went, like, 2-3 weeks later. Like, and we spent, I think we was there for 10 days. And we had the best time in Tenerife. And then we just wanted to be around each other all the time. Up until it started to get a bit difficult. Like, we were just so happy being in each other's company. And... Like, so long distance was there, but we didn't allow it to be a problem because we was together a lot.
I was going to say, because it's like a show, did you think like, oh, we kind of have to make it work because it's a TV show and like it's...
And because of what the audience were thinking.
Yeah, or did you like, obviously like for you probably it is genuine, but like did you think like, oh, like it has to work?
Yeah, I get what you're saying because people could almost think, oh, like if we lose a relationship then we're losing all this like publicity and stuff, but I swear to God, like it's like anything. Like you might think you can think like that, but it's real life. Like the filming stopped in May, but it didn't go out until October, November. I swear to God, we was with each other again. Like I say, I spent most of the time in Edinburgh, and we'd be with each other, and the show hadn't come out yet, and it was almost like you'd forget that we've done it, and it was just like normal because it wasn't on TV yet, and no one knew us, so we were just going about like a normal relationship. The only thing that wasn't normal about it is that we couldn't put each other on our socials. But I remember towards the end, like, we got a bit sloppy because we just wanted everyone to know. Not because publicity, but it was like, we were just so proud to be with each other. And I remember that she put me in her story once, and then, like, I think Welfare got in touch, like, saying, don't be having people on your stories. And no, you forget that you've done it, and that you can't have that, like, mentality for so long. I think you start to think, though, like, oh, like, did I, like, subconsciously be like that?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say, like, did you, like, just, like...
But no, because I just stopped caring. Well, I never like really cared, but you just stopped caring about like any public perception. Even when the show came out, I didn't care about anyone's opinion other than hers. Like,
are you aware of the cameras when you're doing it?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, like because it's not like Love Island or
where they're like hidden.
Where it's like 24/7. Right, It's like they will tell you, like, okay, we're gonna start filming now, and I think that's a shame as well. Is that
it takes the realism out of the relationship.
100%.
So I feel like it just wouldn't be.
No.
I don't know.
So obviously, I've watched Married at First Sight. I know what the TV show's about. Obviously, as well as just dealing with each other's emotions on the show, you're also involved in a massive group of people that are also going through the same thing as you two. Which brings me on to my next point. So obviously, when you was on the show, I'm not gonna lie, Jordan, there was a lot of limelight on yourself.
Yeah.
A lot of limelight. Obviously, stuff. Never too much. It's good telly, but there was incidents between you and Erica. There was incidents between you and a guy called Luke Worley.
Yep.
So talk us about that. What were your relationships like with other members of the cast? Was it easy to get on with these people? Was it clashing heads all the time? Were they genuine? What's your opinion on that?
So, off camera, and as individually, I got on with them all. Okay. But it was when the camera was filming and you're in a group setting and you're getting people drunk that the show's like, you know, feeding you with alcohol. Then they bring up conversations where you're supposed to answer honest opinions on other people's relationships, and I wasn't afraid to be honest. Whereas a lot of people were already friends. So we were bombshells, so we came in later.
Right, okay.
So we was new into the group.
Okay.
So you know what it's like, a group dynamic. If someone comes in new, it's almost like, who are these?
Who are
They can't have their opinion because they've not been here as long as us. But we was not afraid to give our opinions. But we did get on with everyone. But there were some people that didn't like that probably never took to us. So that's where like the arguments, like i.e. Luke, that's where like what happened with me and Luke. He didn't like me giving my opinion, which is ironic because he was very opinionated himself.
Very opinionated.
So
very, very opinionated.
It was a clash because of that, which only would only happen on that show. If I met Luke in a pub and it was just two guys in a pub just chatting and we didn't have each other's marriage to dissect by orders from like the TV crew,
TV show,
we wouldn't probably be arguing and fighting. But the way they kind of like manipulate conversations and talking points.
They want the drama, don't they?
Yeah, and it happens.
So you say about manipulating. So obviously we put an advert out the other day, and the first scene of the advert is Luke Worley banging on your bedroom door. Was that genuine? Was he asked to react in that way? Like, because I've got many friends on Love Island, so I go out on the weekend with people from Love Island, and they sit down and talk to me, and they're like, "Oh, Kai, would you ever go on Love Island?" And I'm like, "Well, obviously I would do it for like following and things like that, but is it genuine, or do they tell you what to do? Like, do they tell you to go over there and cause drama? Do they tell you to move to that girl when she comes into the villa? Even though you're happy in a relationship, you're going to go over and move to someone in Casa and More because we need the views. Like, is it like that? Was he told to come and react in that way, or was that genuine how he felt about you? Because it looked real. It looks genuine.
His emotions at the time were genuine, but through manipulation. I think he'll admit himself, like, as much as me and Luke have disagreed about stuff, we're actually on the same page with this, and we've spoken in private about this, like, since the show, that, look, we still very strongly disagree on some things, and still would love to fight each other. Well, I think I would love to fight him more than he would love to fight me. But through, like, pure, genuine, like, disagreements, and people got in his head that I went out my way to upset his missus and make his missus cry, and they really revved him up. But he was actually supposed to knock on, I think it was either George or Arthur's door before mine. But they were like, no, go speak to Jordan. And I think, they were like, go speak to him first.
Whilst his temper was at that.
I think so, and they really revved him up. Apparently he wasn't that angry to begin with that morning. But then they were like, are you going to let a man make your missus cry? And, are you going to be a man and go to his door and speak to him? Like, or are you going to, stay up here? And they really, like, revved him up. Which I think he'll admit to, by the way. And I think he said it openly anyway. So then that's when he did come down, genuinely very angry at me, but because of what they were saying to him.
Right.
And because how they wanted it to play out. Don't think they expected a fight, but it's like you can't play with fire and not expect to get burnt. So like they knew what they was doing was very, very risky. And it didn't take much for it like to boil over, and it did. So
it did boil over. Yeah. And obviously it made, I think, was there a series before you guys? There was a few.
There's been a few, yeah, like 4 or 5, I don't know.
I'm going to be honest, like, your series was the series where it blew. Yeah. Like, it was all over TikTok, people were watching it, people were talking about it, because of not only just the clash between you and Luke, but with the personalities that were on that show. Obviously, when I boxed with you down at the O2, I met quite a few of them. Obviously, I'm close friends with Paul Libber now. His missus that are still together. But there were some big personalities on that show.
Yeah, big personalities.
Very big personalities. However, you seem to be the main focus, the main target, pretty much all the time, which isn't a bad thing. But
yeah, do you know what though? Like, it's big personalities, and so like recently, me and the boys went to a festival, and
was it the Dodgeball Festival?
Yeah, in Bournemouth, and without all the like manipulation of like people like whispering and like trying to get you to like talk about stuff and talk about other people's marriage, if you just strip all that away, like we all get on. And like actually on the show, when there was like, it was called like Down Days, where like you wouldn't have any filming. Right. Me, like us and the boys we'd go to like a bit of like outfield bit, have a bit of alcohol, get the football, and we'd be playing like 2-touch and like just like football and just like having drinks and having a laugh. Yeah. It was when the cameras were rolling with the big personalities where it kicked off. But yeah, you stick a lot of big personalities in a room,
Yeah,
it's gonna kick off.
Oh, we knew that. Our episode 1 when we was in here, like the video's coming out this weekend. But when you have a room full of big egos and people that want to get their opinion across, like we were shouting over each other, like it got ridiculous to the point of where I had to sit there and go one at a time. Like it was constantly one at a time. But obviously, we've touched on the Married at First Sight. We've touched on the whole Luke Worley situation. Obviously, a big part of your experience at Married at First Sight was your partner, Erica. I met Erica. She was obviously with you when we both fought on a DKM show back in February. She was a lovely girl.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest.
No,
like when I first met Erica, I thought she was a lovely girl. She was very welcoming towards me. Obviously, I'm not from the telly. I'm not part of that. I've not had any of that focus before. But I think because she saw how genuine I was with you, and I wanted the best for you out of that fight night, she was very welcoming. Yeah. And she was. I thought that she was a very lovely girl.
She was, and she is. I'm getting nervous now. You know what you mentioned? Honestly, that's bad though, because this is what's so disappointing for me is that when I hear a name and like when I think about a relationship, I would like to think of all the things that we fought through together and all the good things and stuff. But obviously, she would want everyone to believe after the breakup that it was like really like toxic and just like all negative, which it really wasn't. And that's why like anytime like normally if someone's talking about it, it's like, oh, have you seen what your ex-wife's put on TikTok? And it's something that's like negative. So when you mention a name, I actually get nervous, and it's sad and disappointing because, like you said, when we was together, the person that I really got to know like deep down, like take away all this social media, TikTok stuff, like deep down as a girl, like such a really beautiful, like genuine girl, with a really like sweet heart. Yeah, she is a lovely girl and stuff. Just she hasn't like been towards me as such since the breakup.
Do you think, obviously we're going to get onto the whole breakup situation in a minute, but do you think that she's acted towards you in this way with things like TikToks and Instagram because she sees herself as like this influencer who needs to tell people about the situation?
Look, I don't know why she's doing it, and that's what's sad and disappointing because she's done a lot of TikToks about me. She's done a lot of TikToks that everyone's assumed are about me. I think it's at least 14. And we've only been broken up for 14 weeks. So on average, it's once a week. Right. And I'm going to be careful here. I want to talk facts and not opinions. So she's done 14 TikToks where everyone's assumed it's about me. Everyone's flooded to my page, viewed my stories, sent me messages saying, look what she's saying about you. That I'm like toxic, or that my behaviour was horrible, or I've done this. She knows that people, and it's out there that she's aware that people are assuming it's about me. So whether it is about me or it isn't, the fact that people are assuming it's about me and it's bringing all this negativity to, like, it's making people think negatively of me.
Puts a bad image on you.
Yeah, it's almost like it's like dragging my name like through the mud and just like, I don't know, really portray me as this not very nice person. And I don't get why anyone would want to put those TikToks on knowing that people are assuming it's about you. About anyone. I don't know why anyone would want to do that to anyone. Never mind for someone that you're supposed to have like loved for and cared for. Yeah. Like even if she does feel this way about me, which but this is another thing. She's acknowledged that they're not about me. So I feel like I don't know why she'd be doing it then. Because why does she need to do these TikToks? I don't get it. I don't know if people say it's for the views or whatever, but I don't know. That's disappointing though because. If she's doing it for social media views, then
it just takes away from like what you had before. Like.
But it's a big difference. Like with my breakup with my ex, obviously she would put in directed stories on Instagram about me, or she would share like a quote that's equivalent to us. But my ex would have like 1,000 followers. She hasn't been on the telly. But when someone off the telly is posting that content, you don't just invite your close friends and family that you've got on Instagram to view your story. That is out there for the whole world to see.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. It's like almost giving people the opportunity to think I'm this like really, really like bad person, and not just a few people. Like I think TikTok and Instagram combined, she's got like over 200,000 followers. That's a lot of people.
All them people against you.
Yeah, I have people message me saying like, like did you do this, or like, why is she saying this? Like, so and like there was one time where people thought I was seeing another girl, or like very quickly after her, like moved on too quickly, and people were like, how could you move on so quickly? And I'm like, I'm not with anyone, but it's because of a TikTok she did. People were assuming that I had, and it's just putting all these like negative opinions in people's heads, and it's that on a big scale. And like I said, but she knows that people are assuming it's about me. So I don't know to me, I would never do that because it's not worth like social media views, and I wouldn't do that to anyone.
I've not seen you retaliate. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I've seen you put a video up or stories up or anything.
And that's the best way to be, like.
Because you haven't.
No.
You haven't really had your say. Obviously, I know you've done a few podcasts before this.
But but those podcasts. This is another thing. Those podcasts were 3 months ago. Like, so a couple of weeks after the breakup, and the only time I've ever spoken about her was on a podcast, and I got asked a question, and there's not been once I've slated her. Every time I've said I'm disappointed and I'm sad with the way it's gone after the breakup, but I've not slated her once as a person, and I'll never do it because every relationship has their problems and issues. That doesn't make someone a bad person. It's just like disagreements or people not like handling stuff or like dealing with stuff in the best way. We're all human. But I know deep down she's a very, very nice person, and I know that, I don't know, I just think that this social media front, I refuse to believe that that's her. If she's doing it for views or whatever, then that's fine, but that's not her as a person. And I'll not slate her.
Have you had this conversation with her? Have you said, why are you doing these videos? Has she said, oh, it's because of this?
Have you, like asked her
surely there's been a conversation there of why are you doing it?
Yeah.
So I've not gone at her once. She's got in touch with me a couple of times after the breakup, both times to have a go at me, and both times I've been very calm and again, I don't want to go into the ins and outs. I'm not going to like expose anything that's like private, but both times I've just been very calm and said, if you feel like this, I'm sorry that you feel like this, and I'm sad that you feel like this, but let me explain, and let's stop this misunderstanding and try and get an understanding.
Yeah.
But both times she's like either been too angry to listen or just not wanting to understand. But okay, I get that if we're not going to be like together going forwards, we don't need to love each other, but it would be sad to look back on this such a big important chapter of both our lives that involve us, as people together. It was just a shame to look back at it in all negativity instead of having this like understanding. But so I get that if she doesn't like, I get if she don't want to talk about it. Okay, fair. That's how she wants to deal with it. But then to continue doing the stuff, the stuff on TikTok, it's like, to me, she's almost convinced everyone that our relationship was all negative, and it's almost convinced me.
It definitely wasn't. When I saw you at the O2, like, you could tell the support was there. Like, obviously, I did your corner at the O2, but obviously when I looked to the left of me, obviously Paul's missus was there and Erica was there. Like, she was so supportive. She did not stop screaming, shouting. Even when we done the face-off the night before, like, you could tell she wanted to be there. Like, she was a supportive, well, I was about to say supportive girlfriend, but a supportive wife. Obviously because of what happened on the show. Because you did have a good relationship. It was obvious you had a good relationship because of when the first time I met you, it didn't look like you'd just been together for less than a year. Like, it looked like you've been together for such a long time.
So do you know what? This is what's mad is that she's almost convinced me now that our relationship was all like toxic and bad. But when I do actually think about it, when people talk to me about it, it makes me think back to certain things. And like you just said, it seemed like we've been together for a long time. When we went to Tenerife a couple of weeks after filming, bearing in mind we'd only known each other 2.5 months. We went on holiday to Tenerife. We met this other couple out there. You know, like you do on holiday. You get to meet other couples. And we weren't supposed to tell anyone at that point that we'd been on the show. Right. So we didn't tell them for a couple of days that we actually met through MAFS. But as a normal, natural conversation came about, they were like, oh, so how did you two meet? And we were like, we looked at each other, was like, do we tell him? And in the end, we were like, oh, so don't really tell anyone. Like, we're not supposed to, but we met through a show called Married at First Sight. Do you watch it? And they were like, oh my God, yeah. But what they said to us...
it's not been on TV yet.
Not been on TV yet.
Right, okay.
But what they said to us, which was really, really heartfelt by the both of me and Erica, was that we cannot believe it. We thought you'd been together for years. Like, you look like a genuine couple that had been together for like years, not through something like that. Because, like you said, our emotions were genuine and they were very, very strong. Which is why it's mad that I'm almost starting to forget that and just think of all the negative things that I'm hearing and seeing that she's saying about our relationship now.
I was going to say, as a girl's perspective, sometimes you do just post that little subtle hint on a story just for them to see. Like, you know they're going to see it. But, like, because you don't want to talk... It's so stupid for a girl. I don't know why we do it. But, like, you don't want to talk to them about it because you want to assume that they care. So you just put that little hint on your story for them to see it. Like, you know they're going to see it. And, like... But I guess taking it to the extreme of, like, posting thousands of TikToks. And obviously, like, bear in mind she has a following as well.
Yeah, from my point of view, it's all negative, though.
Yeah.
So I don't think it is to get reaction. But the thing is that she knows I really cared, and she knows I really loved her.
Yeah.
So she shouldn't need to find out those answers if I did care or not, because when we spoke in private, I said, let's talk about it calmly. Let's talk about it to like understand and like be productive instead of just have a go at each other. I think talking on social media isn't to try and, it's not productive. It's going to like ruin things, which it kind of has. So I don't know.
Do you think she posted the videos to get validation from other females?
Well, this is what I mean. Like, people have said that, and people think it's either for the views or for what you just said. And I just hope that it's not. But there's no good reason why she could be doing it, though, is there? No, but it's worked because I got sent images the other day from people that have seen like her TikToks and her TikTok live. They were sending me screenshots of girls actually making up that they were my exes. And that they had a horrible experience with me, and I think they're doing it because they actually feel like they can connect with her through mutual mistreatment by me.
Them people that are commenting that want to feel relevant. Yeah. They want to.
They're trying to get attention.
They see Erica's following. They see who she's on social media, and she's like, oh, there's an influencer there. Maybe I can get into a sort of friendship or girlfriendship with them.
Want to jump on the bandwagon, if she's saying loads of stuff, people love drama,
But that's the damage it's doing, though. It's actually giving people the feeling that it's a safe space to go on there and talk shit about me. Even if you do feel negative, then say in private to your friends and family, not out for everyone else to try and make up their own mind. I can't let that go. I can't let people make up stories about me as if I'm this bad, horrible person. Don't get me wrong, to some exes I have mistreated them and stuff, which is why I find it really did anger me that someone who I haven't mistreated was making up stuff, because I was like, how dare you? My exes, who I could have treated a lot better, didn't even speak up against me. And my ex before the show, she stayed silent, and I was like, how dare you? It's offensive to me, it's offensive to them, and that's why I've not said anything and not responded to anything. But I felt like I had to talk about it a bit more now, because I feel like I've been pushed into this situation where it's if I don't start defending myself, it's going to run away with it. This has been going on for 4 months now.
And I feel especially when it's all over social media and that, you kind of put yourself in a corner, and it's kind of if I speak up, will I then do I then look guilty because I'm no, I haven't done this. But then if I don't speak,
if I stay silent,
whatever you do, people are gonna run their mouth and have their own opinions. Do you know what I mean? So it's good that you have you haven't jumped on it and retaliated and done the same thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like I'm in a no-win situation though, because now I'm talking about it. It's almost, I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to get to this. I just would love that if we ever spoke about each other, it would be of course we had our issues like every relationship, but this is what we went through. This is what this is what we loved, all the good memories, and just look back at it with a smile on our faces, and then move forwards. It's so much easier to move forwards like that. I can't have people I felt like if I kept staying silent, people will just run away with it and make up stories. And
when obviously as a man as well, obviously we're quite silent with our emotions, and we're quite we don't really like putting ourselves out there. But obviously you're a public figure, so you've already put yourself out there for public perception because of the show that you went on. So you not retaliating and you not explaining to people and doing videos yourself, people might see that as, oh, he's guilty, he's got nothing to say for himself. So I think that's why you've had to come onto a podcast like this and tell people your opinion and answer questions that haven't been answered yet, because you've not gone to the validation of making TikToks, making Instagram posts.
To speak your mind. It's not it's not you posting it on your socials that makes it look like, oh, I'm doing it for attention or I'm doing it for views, or I think doing it on a podcast is the safest place because you can actually explain.
It's a flowing conversation. It's not just a snippet, not just a remark, where people can just make their own mind up. What does that mean? And then they've made their own mind up on that. It's actually people can understand what I'm saying here. And like you said, men suffer in silence, and
big time.
I remember after the breakup, I did this one article, and it was the most loving article, and I just said nothing but nice words about her and how sad I was and how heartbroken. And then other than the 2 podcasts I did, other than that, I just stayed silent, and I was off social media for like quite a bit, not really posting much. And when I did, I was just saying basically how sad I was. I wanted to be real. I didn't want to just act like I was still happy. I wasn't happy, and that was tough. I think for me to see her so active on social media, as if like on her Instagram, like I think the day of the breakup, like as if like nothing had happened, and that was a really like wow, like. I'm struggling here, and it looks like she's all right. I
think I remember personally, obviously, because we met in February. Obviously, I've just followed you on Instagram, but I think you took a break from social media, or did you go? You went to like the countryside, or you went to go find yourself again. I think I remember that you done something like that. You didn't really go. You did put a story out saying, "Yeah, me and Erica are split. It's ended mutual." Blah, 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 but you didn't. You've not posted any content. I think you took yourself away from the whole Jordan Gayle married at first sight thing, and put yourself, like your time into yourself, into the gym, into going out to the countryside, into seeing friends and family and things like that again. Whereas obviously Erica maybe used social media and her following to get over the whole situation.
Yeah, no, that's it. And there's different approaches. And I think my defence for her is that if she has done anything wrong, my defence for her will be, and for some reason I still like to try and defend her, that she's hurting, and people deal with like being hurt in different ways, whether it's right or wrong. But my way of dealing was like staying quiet. I posted once in a while on social media just to say that, and it was mainly just to say like I'm still struggling, I'm like working through it, just to show people that I didn't want to just. It was too painful to pick up the phone sometimes and even post. But when I had the strength to show the bravery to show that I am struggling, but I'll get over it one day. That's content I wanted to put out, and that's what I was doing. But for a good few weeks after the breakup, I didn't even have I was hurting too much to even like do that. I was like, I was down. And I think only probably until like the last month, I went like to a festival, and like I've been doing a lot of cool things. I've started to post and like show that I am genuinely happy now, and and because that's genuine, like, so now people know that I was sad, and I did go through a phase where I was very heartbroken, I'm very sad. Don't get me wrong, like, it's not easy still now, I still struggle with some stuff, but when I am posting now, people know it's real. I'm genuinely like happy when I show I'm happy, and like, it's just real. It actually, in my Instagram, is a real reflection of how I'm feeling throughout my life, and that's what I want it to be. So that's why I did that.
Obviously, you touched on the point there that obviously you have gone through phases where you've been struggling. Obviously, the whole point of the Broadcast podcast is we bring people onto the sofa and we talk about things that maybe some people suffer to talk about. Obviously, I don't know how this podcast is going to elevate. Obviously, I didn't expect to have TV reality stars on, didn't expect to have music artists on in a few weeks' time, but the whole main purpose was to break this stigma of silence and get people to speak up about their mental health. Obviously, I've gone through stuff with my mental health, brought a documentary about my mental health. I went down suicidal thoughts, turned into a bit of an alcoholic and a bit of a party boy, gave up boxing for nearly 10 months. Like, us boys, like, we go through it. Like, when this whole situation with MAFS and Erica, and it come to an end, like, did you go through that? Have you gone through stuff in the past? Mental health's a massive thing. It's a big thing. And have you struggled with that? Yeah,
I've been very open about it though, because I mean, it was even documented on MAFS. It was documented on MAFS that I've like had my ups and downs and struggled with my mental health. I have like OCD as well, so that's very much linked to like when I struggle. If I'm like low in confidence, or like I'm struggling with stuff, that my OCD can get on top of me. I can get in my own head a lot. Then it's like a downward spiral, a negative spiral, and then that's very much linked to depression. Then you don't have energy, you don't feel like getting out of bed, and like I can feel like that anyway. If my OCD gets the better of me, but when you're put in stressful situations and stuff, and the big high of coming off MAFS, and then trying to fit in a routine where it was very much long distance, very much travelling, living out a suitcase. I wasn't training much, and training's a massive part of me, like just to regulate like my confidence and like the strength to fight off like my OCD and like mental health issues. Like a
schedule, doesn't it?
Yeah, it gives you a schedule, gives you routine, gives you a purpose, gives you confidence. And I like lost that. Then I started to struggle a lot. I kind of lost myself a bit. So yeah, I've struggled with that, and I've been open. Like I've wrote down on TV like about it, like my OCD and stuff, and how it's got me to like states of depression where I didn't want to get out of bed and stuff, and then obviously like not just like OCD or like heartbreak as well. Like you said, guys suffer in silence. So like
Big time.
guys like to act tough, but I think guys suffer with, and again, this is completely like dependent on the individual and situation, but I know a lot of guys that will suffer secretly more than the girl does, like through a heartbreak, because we don't have that, like, I don't know, we act brave, but we really struggle with it.
Big time. So obviously, like, with me, obviously, I'm single now for nearly 2 years. Obviously, when I split up my ex, like, it was chaos. Like, even Callum knows himself, documentary that came out, like, when you have that person, obviously you was with Erica for a short period of time, so I was with my ex for like 3 years. So when you've got that person on your side 24/7, shouting my name at boxing fights, sticking up for me when Gale say things about me that I've done in the past, like that person supporting you 24/7, when that person just disappears and there's no contact and there's no communication anymore, the world just seems like a very like lonely place.
Yeah, it almost feels like pointless because you've like lost a life that you thought you were going to live.
Exactly.
And that's scary, isn't it? If it feels pointless, that's when it could turn scary if you don't have that like that support system. Or like if you speak out though, you can gain that support system. A lot of guys don't speak out, so no one knows they're struggling. Yeah. So then they don't have that support system. Whereas I think from a girl's point of view, you tell me if it's different for you, but I feel like girls talk to each other. They have that strength to talk to each other about problems, and then they feel like they're all in it together, and it gives you that strength.
Yeah, it's really weird. Like I mean, obviously, like from a girl, when we go through stuff like that, you do reach out to like obviously like your best friend or whatever, and you kind of like speaking it because you're speaking it out loud. It kind of makes you realise that it's actually not as bad as I'm like, as if like I haven't told anyone. Then I get so in my head about it. I get more upset. I end up like just ruining my own routine and my own life when like me just messaging it to my friend like kind of solves it. Like obviously not, but I feel like that's where men like.
But some men are like, some men get embarrassed. Like
which I find so.
Some boys feel like if they go to their boys and turn around and say, "Oh, I've broken up my missus. Like I love her to bits. It's sending me down a route of depression. I'm broken."
You just get looked at as weak. Because you all think like that, so I don't get why I don't just tell each other.
Because you get looked at as weak. Like you get it's like, "Oh mate, get over it. Come to the pub, get over it."
No, it's let's go out and shag some girls, shag some girl to get over this girl, and it doesn't do it.
Doesn't do it at all.
I think the reason why is because it's only till recently that men have like started to speak out, which is why this podcast is like just more men like speaking out to show other men that they can speak out.
Yeah.
And hopefully everyone will do it.
And then if more men do it, then more men know how to deal with it if their mate is talking out. Because what the problem is that someone might want to help, but they don't know how. So I've been like, it's my mates, like I've been around it where like they know I've like suffered these last few months and I've gone through heartbreak. They know it. And they do try and help and they're aware of it, and like them just being around me has helped me. But I know that for full well if I start opening up, they wouldn't know how to talk about it. Yeah, even if they know I'm struggling.
They know that you're struggling, but they don't want to ask you like, "Oh, how are you feeling?"
Yeah, because they wouldn't know how to deal with it. Yeah. And I know that like they care about me, but if I went, "Oh yeah, like like I just feel really sad, like I can't," they'd be like,
We'll go clubbing.
Yeah,
we'll
like
go
like
we'll
which fit girls then can are in your DMs that you can like. Do you know what I mean? Like it would be like turn into a laddish thing.
Even like you just then saying like it makes men feel weak. Like I think it makes men so much stronger.
Yeah,
like,
but
if a boy opens up to me, I think that's like a way better.
If we make a TikTok clip and it's a man speaking emotion or telling people how he feels, there'll be one person that comment that goes, "Oh, get over it." Or grow up, or like you're not a proper man, or just stop crying about it.
Why are you videoing yourself crying?
I think as well there's some girls like it's good that you think like that, but there are some girls where they're like, no, I want a man to be in his masculine and that's feminine, and like there are girls out there, and you know what? If a guy hears that once, which by the way in likelihood there'll be one girl that's probably said that to a guy in his life, I want you to be more masculine, not feminine. Like you're supposed to be looking after me. Like I guarantee you that man will always be scared and be frightened to open up to any other girl.
I find that crazy. Girls that think like that, I think you're so small-minded.
Yeah, no, like
you're literally exactly the same.
Yeah.
We're all human. Like we all go through stuff. It's not just like one or the other. Do you know what I mean? Like for a girl to cry and for me to cry, for you to cry is exactly the same.
So obviously, after all this has happened, you've been split. How long have you been split with Erica now?
3.5 months.
3.5 months. Yeah. So what's been your lifestyle these 3.5 months? What have you been doing?
So like I say, first month, like I struggled. I was lucky that opportunities started coming my way, like pretty much like straight away. I don't really believe in karma or like all that kind of stuff. But I don't know, maybe I should, because the moment that like that breakup happened, like gym brands, podcasts, box, like all these things started to come to me, and that really helped me like keep busy. But there were some days where like I only got out of bed to go to the gym. Luckily, I found a job like in a gym in Sheffield very quickly as well, so I was going there, and it was just like basically ticking over. But like deep down, I was very, very depressed and sad. But I was still moving and stuff, but wasn't really present. I was in my head so much. Then like month 2, like started to feel a bit better. Like going to the gym a lot. Like literally, like if I wasn't working in the gym, I was in the gym with my mates. I was like around my mates. I'd go home. I'd sleep at night. Probably very guilty of going on Instagram. You like one reel that's emotional, and then all of a sudden,
they're all
there.
I can't lie. I've been listening to Taylor Swift a lot. The Heartbreak album. I've been scrolling through all these emotional like reels on Instagram, like about breakups and about no contact, about like all this kind of shit. No, honestly, all these things like on my Instagram, and I'm like, I like this because this is how I'm feeling right now. But I know if I like this, I'm not gonna get out of this rut. But I was almost enjoying it. And then I'd almost like I would almost let myself feel sad, and that was the first couple of months.
But that's what you do. Like,
you have to get that emotion out.
I feel like if you bottle it up, like it just gets worse and worse, and then you just explode. Like you just have to.
It's the only time I've done it in my life.
Live in the moment.
Before I would be like the old standard lad guy, kind of like thing where like just use girls over other girls, and it didn't work, never worked. So this time I've actually allowed myself to be sad.
Good.
A lot of scrolling until like early hours in the morning on Instagram, emotional reels, emotional songs, and then I've just been honestly, I've found myself again. I'm back in the gym. I'm back to how I was feeling, like my physical shape before the show. Put like all the muscle I lost back on, and then just been around my mates a lot and just like busy, productive, gym, and then now going forwards, like I've got the boxing coming up. Stuff, so I've just survived, and now I'm starting to like
live again,
like flourish now. Like the festival really helped, going with the guys, like just having a good time.
You've got summer, like it's summertime now. Do you know what I mean? It is. Well,
it's supposed to be.
It's not, but it is like it's summertime. You can go out, you can enjoy yourself. It's summer, but I connect with you on that because obviously when I go through stuff, my first thing to do is message my boxing coach. Like, have you got a time for a session today? Go to the boxing gym. By the time I get home from the boxing gym and shower, I'm fine. Like, I'm good again. Which obviously brings me on to my next point. Obviously, boxing. That's become a big thing for you within like last year or so. That's when me and you met. We was on the same DKM show together in February. You headlined against Nathan Armstrong. Which again, obviously, wasn't supposed to happen. You were supposed to fight Mr. Luke Worley, but. Give us a bit of information about what happened in regards to that. Yeah,
so obviously I was supposed to fight Luke from the show. We both signed contracts. And you know what as well? Like the contracts we signed was for a lot of money, and like he would have earned good money fighting me, but he got pulled from the fight for not training.
Facts.
For not training. Like a month away from the fight. So that really ruined my preparation. So I didn't really train for that fight at all. I went into the ring in the worst shape possible. I didn't say it before because I didn't want to make excuses, and I won. So like I won on my worst day.
My coach.
Yeah, Kai was my coach, and you know what? I'll give you props for that. Like you really helped me like during fight week and being in my corner, like that experience, because that's what it's all about. So now I've got that under my belt, that experience. I won my fight. Then I had a few people call me out. Acting like they wanted to fight me, but then when it really got into the talks, they didn't actually want to sign the contract and want to fight me. I went through 4 people saying they wanted to fight me. I'm not going to name any names because I get on with some of these now, but there was 3 guys from MAFS that didn't want to fight me.
I know they are already.
And then there was one other guy that said he was going to fight me for like a couple of months and didn't fight me. But I finally found someone that we're going to announce. I think by the time this podcast goes out, it'll already be announced.
Yeah,
so,
it will be.
Like YouTuber, like social media, like star, like Salt Pappy. He's got a brother called Salt Pappy Jr.
Okay.
He's finally like there's one person that actually wants to fight me and will fight me. Or so I'm fighting him 21st of July.
I'll definitely be in your corner for that. 100%.
The day before your fight, right?
Day after.
Day after.
So I'm July 20th. You're 21st. But bro, we'll run that back again. Yeah. I'll be in your corner 100%.
So this is the thing. Like I'll be fighting him. I will beat him, and difference in my performance and in my preparations and in my physical shape will be night and day. I won on my worst day, and now I win on my best day. And then I will hope that I'll keep beating people until Luke is brave enough to fight me. But one day, everyone knows the fight I want is Luke.
Do you think it'll happen?
I don't know. I don't think he'll fight me. But yeah, if he's brave enough, I'll still fight him. But
I just can't see it. Like, obviously, that fight week when I'm very close to Danny and Alan. Like, and I spoke to them all the time, and they were messaging me saying, Kai, obviously on the last show, God rest his soul. Did you see what happened the other day?
No, I heard. Yeah.
So the guy that I fought back on that October show, he sadly passed away about 2 days ago. But they were telling me, like, oh, Kai, because of the impact that you had on that show, the knockout and things like that, we want to get you onto the next one. And originally it was going to be headlining it. And then obviously they told me that they was going to bring in the influencers and things like that. And obviously when I heard that you two are fighting, obviously I've watched Married at First Sight. So I was thinking, yeah, like, this is going to do numbers, it's going to do tickets. And then obviously I hadn't met you at that point. I don't even think I followed you on social media, but I was keeping an eye on you and keeping an eye on Luke. He was not training.
No.
He wasn't. There was no training there. I was talking to Danny and Alan and saying, guys, is Luke actually still doing this? Like, I see Jordan putting the hard work in. Luke was not training at all. And if he had that opportunity then, when...
Yeah, there was a lot of money there.
Yeah,
there was a lot of money.
And Married at First Sight, that series
and
that you've done, it was relevant still. Like, it was still there in the open. Whereas now it's like, has the whole hype between you and Luke died down a bit? Whereas people won't be that interested in it because it should have happened back in February.
I don't need Luke. I want Luke. Like, I want to fight Luke, but I don't need to fight him. Like, I've got other guys that are apparently very close to, like, Misfits and stuff, who say that they're in talks with Mams Taylor, and they reckon that I can fight them next after I beat Soul Papa Jr.
Okay, that's good.
You know, on Misfits and stuff. I reckon, yeah. But I'm only going to focus on beating Soul Papa Jr.
One step at a time, man.
Yeah.
Focus on yourself.
I can't underestimate him. He probably thinks he's like his brother, and he's going to be good at boxing, but he's probably going to realise he's his younger brother and he's not good at boxing. So he'll try it once, maybe. But this is the thing, I didn't want to just try it once. I want to take this as far as I can.
You said that to me from day one.
Yeah, and I will. I'll try to take it as far as I can.
It's like a ladder, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a first step, and I'm at the bottom of that journey of boxing. Like, you're actually an actual boxer. You're good. Like, you've
done it for
been doing it for years. Yeah. I'm at the beginning of that, but I want to be one day saying I've been doing this for 8 years, and you know, I'm here now. So.
It helps mentally as well, bro. Like, I'm not boxing. It sounds really cheesy when I say this, but boxing saved my life. Like, it sounds so cheesy when I say that, but boxing really has saved my life.
Yeah.
Mentally, physically, the relationships you have in a boxing gym. Like, I don't think people can actually understand the relevancy of the sport until you're actually there in that position. And when you walk out to the ring, was that not one of the best nights of your life?
Oh yeah, it was.
Surely.
It was one of the best nights of my life, and it honestly really was, and I can relate to it. Of course, it saves people's lives. It saved me through like the heartbreak and stuff, like the gym, like boxing. It's all the same. Like, anything that you're passionate about, and like especially physical activity, like it definitely saves you. Especially boxing, like you said, that camaraderie. 100% it does.
Is Misfits something that you're looking into?
Yeah, like 100%. And this thing, I'm not forcing it. If they want me, I'll go on it. And there's people on there that want to fight me and stuff, and they keep reaching out to me. I'm hoping that these aren't just all like talk, like a few of the other opponents.
Yeah, like it actually happens.
It drives me mad. Like, I've had 3 pullouts within my fight of July. It's all good talking the talk, and then when it actually comes to it, like Mr. Luke Worley, it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, but look, it's not just the money why I'm doing it. I'm doing it because, like you said, it saves me, it helps me, it's a passion of mine. I want to do it. I'll do it, I'll keep winning, and if it brings more, that's a bonus. If it doesn't, I'll keep doing it. But yeah, it's good.
Yeah? Right, so Jordan, thank you, bro, for coming on.
No problem.
4-hour trip, Sheffield down to Kent.
We're gonna, speaking about boxing, we're gonna do like, you're fighting 20th of July, I'm fighting 21st. We're both in like fight camp. We're gonna go to the boxing gym tomorrow.
Yeah, film some content.
Get some content. You can show me how it's done. You can show me how it's done. I'm not sparring him though because he's like a foot taller than me. But no, like honestly, like I can't wait. The hard work and the journey is rewarding, right?
Big time.
And like we've kind of been on this journey, like kind of like together, and yeah, now I'm looking forward to it. So
sweet, bro. Charlotte, thank you. I've got a lot of love for you. Saved me last minute. Really appreciate that. Guys, that's been episode 2 of the Broadcast Podcast. Who knows what we've got next? Who actually knows what we've got next? But we're going to keep working hard. We're going to keep making the content. And yeah, just sit back and enjoy.